What if this was the month everything changed? What if March was the month finally said enough? The month you choose yourself. The month that you stop apologizing for taking up space. What if this was the month that you learned that the boundaries aren't walls, that they're bridges, that they are bridges that are back to yourself? Well, hey, my beautiful people, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks, and I am so glad that you are here with me on this final Mindset Monday of March. Yeah, we made it. We made it through the month of reclaiming your boundaries. And I don't know about you, but I feel different. I feel stronger. I feel cleaner. I feel clearer. And I feel more like myself than I have in a long, long time. And I want to take this Mindset Monday to just reflect on this journey that we've been on together this month. Because we didn't just talk about boundaries this month. We lived them, we practiced them, and we reclaimed them. So today we're going to look back at where we've been, and we're going to celebrate on how far we come and set our intentions for where we are going next. So let me welcome you the proper way to the show. Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast, the season of healing intentionally. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am so glad that you are here. This season, we are slowing down to go deeper. Every Monday and Wednesday, we're creating a space of intentional healing, authentic conversations, and the kind of self-love that transforms from the inside out. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself intentionally is the foundation of true transformation. So whether you're on your own journey of rebirth, navigating life transitions, or simply choosing yourself, this is your safe space. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's heal together intentionally, because you deserve to embrace that beautiful person that you are. Now let's get started. Well, all right, my beautiful people, again, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. Before we dive into this reflection, we're going to do what we always do here on the Season of Self-Love. We're going to just ground ourselves with a 60-second guided meditation. But today's meditation is special. Today we're going to just honor how we have come so far. So wherever you are right now, if you would just take a moment to just close your eyes if you can and just get comfortable, okay? All right, my beautiful souls, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I want you to just pause for a moment. I want you to put both feet on the floor and I want to feel yourself grounded. You are here. You made it through this month. Now take a deep breath in through your nose and slowly release. Now place one hand onto your heart. And now I want you to say quietly to yourself, and I want you to repeat after me. I honor the boundaries that I've set this month. Now inhale. Exhale. Now say quietly to yourself, I release the guilt. I release the fear of saying no. I release the need to explain myself. And I honor the person that I'm becoming. Now one more breath in. Release. Now say, I reclaim my boundaries. I reclaim my voice. I reclaimed my life. And I reclaimed and I am unashamed. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. All right, my beautiful people. Well, first of all, thank you for just sharing that moment with me. All right, so let's talk about this month. Let's talk about the month of March and what we've been through together. So we started off this month, and I told you that March was about reclaiming your boundaries. And it did. And I didn't just mean about boundaries with our people. I meant boundaries with fear, boundaries with shame, boundaries with old patterns, and boundaries with the voice. And that means internal and external that try to keep us small, right? And yeah, we went deep. We went so deep because the boundaries aren't just about saying no. Boundaries aren't about just saying yes to yourself. Boundaries are about honoring your truth, right? Boundaries are about protecting your peace, your energy, and your life. And this month, we learned that from so many incredible voices. So let's talk about the wisdom that we receive. Let me take you back through the journey. Let me remind you of the wisdom that we received this month. We started off this month with Michael O. Ostrelek, who taught us about somatic tools for the clear yes and no decisions. Remember, he reminded us that our bodies know the truth before our minds do, that our boundaries aren't just mental, that we felt in our body, And when we learn to listen to our bodies, we can trust our yes and we trust our no's. And then we had the beautiful Tracy Smith, who shared her journey from people-pleasing to self-trust. She showed us what it looks like to stop abandoning yourself to please others. And she reminded us that boundaries aren't selfish, that they're survivals, that they're self-love, and you can't pour from an empty cup. And then remember, we had Russell Van Brocklin, who talked about shame-free learning and finding your voice. He showed us that boundaries mean saying no to shame, saying no to silence, and no to making yourself small. He also reminded us that our differences are not a deficient, but that they're gifts, and that our voices deserve to be heard. And then we had Terry Bean, who brought us so much joy and reminded us that even while we're setting boundaries, that we can't forget our magic. That she taught us that joy is not something you find, it is something that you remember, that we all have an inner wizard, a part of us that we can create beauty no matter what we're facing. And she reminded us that everything is always working out for me. That is not a denial, that is a boundary that is against fear, a boundary that is against despair. And it's a boundary that says, I choose to believe in possibilities. But every single one of those conversations gave us something. Every single guest showed us a different facet of what it means to reclaim your boundaries. But then the work that I did. Y'all remember, I didn't just facilitate these conversations, I lived them. I had to walk my own talk this month. I share with you my journey of breaking free of the recovery bubble, how I had to set a boundary with my own fear, how I was waiting for that perfect health, that perfect clarity, that perfect condition before I gave myself permission to show up, and how I finally chose to reclaim my life, migraines and all, and how I learned that healing and living can happen at the same time. Not either or, but both and. And then I shared with you impeccability of the word, how I had set a boundary with reactive, destructive language, how I had to choose my words carefully when my mother, who has Alzheimer's, how I had to practice speaking life instead of fear, trust instead of shame, truth instead of shame, and how I had to remember that my words can create heaven on earth and destroy everything around me. Those weren't easy episodes to record. Those wasn't easy truths to share, but they were necessary. Because boundaries aren't just theatrical, they're lived, they're practiced, they're messy, and they're real. So after a month of diving deep into this work, let me tell you what I learned about boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are not about shutting people out of being cold or being selfish. That's not what boundaries are about. Boundaries are about bridges back to yourself. That's what I learned. I learned that boundaries are how you stay connected to who you are while you are connected to other people. I also learned that boundaries are not mean. Boundaries are not cruel. Boundaries are not unkind. Boundaries are the most loving thing that you can do for yourself and for others, because when you have boundaries, you can show up fully, that you can love from overflow instead of depletion. Boundaries are not a one-time decision. They have become a daily practice for me, as they can become a daily practice for you. They are moment-by-moment choices. So every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're practicing boundaries. So every time you honor your truth, you're practicing boundaries. So every time you choose yourself, you're practicing boundaries. But also what I learned is boundaries are not about control. They're about autonomy. They're about self-respect. They're about saying, I have the right to my own life, to my own feelings, to my own choices. And that you can't control other people, but you can control what you accept. You can control what you allow. And you can control what you participate in. And boundaries. Boundaries are not a punishment. They're protection. They're not about making other people suffer. They're not about making sure you don't suffer. They're about creating the conditions for your own well-being, for your own peace, for your own thriving. That's what boundaries are. That's what we've been learning all month. That's what we've been learning. So let's talk about the boundaries that you set. Because now I want to honor you, our listeners. I want to honor the boundaries that you set this month. So maybe you said no to someone for the first time. Or maybe you walked away from a conversation that was draining you. Or maybe you stopped explaining yourself to people who don't value you. Or maybe you set a boundary with your own inner critic. Or maybe you just stopped speaking destruction over your own life. Or maybe you started treating yourself with the same kindness that you give to others. Or maybe you just set a boundary with overworking. Or maybe you rested without guilt. Or maybe you took the day off. Or maybe you said, I can't do this right now, and that's okay. Or maybe you set a boundary with people pleasing. That sounds good. Or maybe you stop abandoning yourself to make others comfortable. That sounds good. I applaud you. Or maybe you honored your truth even when it was uncomfortable. How about this one? Maybe you set a boundary with shame. Maybe you stop apologizing for who you are. Maybe you reclaimed your voice. Or maybe you took up space. But whatever boundaries that you have set this month, big or small, internal or external, I want you to know that I see you, I honor you, and I celebrate you, because every boundary that you set is an act of self-love. And every boundary you set is a declaration that you matter. And every boundary that you set is reclaiming your life. So let's talk about the hard truths about boundaries. Because I want to be real about something. Setting boundaries is hard. And sometimes it gets harder before it gets easier. Because when you start setting boundaries, people notice. People know. And people who were used to you being available all the time will be uncomfortable. And people who were used to you saying yes will be confused when you say no. And people who have benefited from your lack of boundaries will resist your new boundaries. And you know what? That's okay. Because that is the part of the process. Because boundaries reveal who's really in your corner. Boundaries show you who respects you and who was just using you. Boundaries create space for healthy relationships, and it exposes unhealthy ones. And yes, that can be painful. And yes, you might lose some people. And yes, you might disappoint some people. And yes, you might feel guilty at first and even lonely. But here's what I need you to know. You are not responsible for other people's feelings about your boundaries. You are responsible for honoring yourself and the people who truly love you. They will adjust. The people who truly love you, they'll adjust. They'll respect your boundaries, and they'll meet you where you are, and they will grow with you. And the people who can't, they're showing you who they are. Believe me. Believe them and let them go. Because you can't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. You can't abandon yourself to make other people comfortable. And you can't shrink to make other people feel big. Your boundaries are not up for negotiation. Not anymore. Your boundaries are not up for debate. Not anymore. Your boundaries are yours to set. And there's yours to keep. So I want you to take some time this week. This is your reflection questions for this month. And I want you to journal. I want you to sit down with these questions. Question 1. What boundary did I set this month that I'm most proud of? And I want you to think about it. What did you say no to? And what did you walk away from? What did you stop accepting? And what boundary felt scary but necessary? And what boundary changed something for you? And I want you to write it down. I want you to celebrate it. And I want you to honor it. And question 2, what boundary do I still need to set? And with this question, I want you to be honest. What are you still tolerating that you know that you shouldn't? What are you still saying yes to when you want to say no? What are you still accepting that doesn't honor you? And it's okay if you're not ready yet, but name it, acknowledge it, because awareness is the first step. And question 3, how did my boundaries change my relationships? Did some relationships get stronger? Did some relationships fall away? Did you feel more connected or less connected? And did you feel free or did you feel guilty? There's no right answer. I want you to just notice it. I want you to notice what happened when you started honoring yourself. And then question 4, how did my boundaries change me? Do you feel different? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel clearer? Do you feel more like yourself? Do you feel tired? Or do you feel like you're still learning? And again, there is no right answer. And I want to tell you this, boundaries, it's a journey. It's not a destination. So wherever you are right now, you are exactly where you need to be. And question 5, what boundary do I want to commit to for the next 30 days? What's that next level? What's the next practice? What's the next area of your life that needs boundaries? Maybe it's time boundaries. Maybe it's emotional boundaries. Maybe it's physical boundaries. Maybe it's financial boundaries or creative boundaries. But what's calling you? What's the next step? Only you know. Only you know. Now, before we close out this month, I want us to celebrate because we don't celebrate enough. We don't honor how far that we've come. You know, we always looking at what's next, what's left to do, what we haven't accomplished yet. I know I have that bad, and I'm working on it. But today we're going to pause and we're going to say, look at what I did. Look at how far I've come and look at the person that I'm becoming. So I want you to think about one win from this month. One moment where you chose yourself. One moment where you set a boundary. And one moment where you honor your truth. Maybe it was big. Maybe it was small. It doesn't matter, but it counts. And I want you to say out loud, I am proud of myself for, and you fill in the blank. Go ahead, say it, even if no one else is around. I want you to say it to yourself. I am proud of myself for whatever it is, because you deserve to celebrate. You deserve to acknowledge your growth. And you deserve to honor your courage. So I know you asked, Nyomi, what's next? What's coming? What's coming after the reclaiming your boundaries? Well, I'll tell you this much. April is going to be powerful. We're going to build on everything that we learned in March, and we're going to go even deeper. We're going to continue this journey of reclaimed and unashamed living. But I'm not going to tell you the thing just yet. You have to tune in next Monday for that. You know, because you know how it always goes. I always plan something and then something happened in my life that changes. And so I'm now going with the flow of things. Because March was all about sandy boundaries, and April is about living in the freedom of those boundaries that was created. So I'm going to say this. So if March was about saying no, I'm going to allow April to be about saying yes to the right things, to myself, to yourself, to my life, to your life. So just stay with me. Just keep showing up. Just keep choosing yourself and keep reclaiming. Because we are just getting started here. All right, my beautiful people. All right, so before we close out this episode, I want to leave you with the affirmation, all right? So I want you all to repeat after me loud if you can. I reclaim my boundaries this month. And I honor myself even when it was hard. I said no without guilt. I said yes to my own life. And I am not the same person I was at the beginning of the month. I am stronger, I am clearer, and I am freer. I am reclaimed, and I am unashamed, and I am enough. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, my beautiful people, I want to thank you again for being with me this month. I want to thank you for showing up. I want to thank you for doing the work, and I want to thank you for choosing yourself. This month was all about reclaiming your boundaries, and you did that. You really did that. And I want you to remember, boundaries are not a one-time thing. They are practice. They are a lifestyle. And they are a commitment to yourself. So as we move into the next month, I want you to keep practicing, keep honoring your boundaries, and keep choosing yourself. Keep reclaiming your life. And if you slip this month, and if you said yes when you wanted to say no, and if you let a boundary slip, that's okay. You're human. You're learning. So give yourself grace and try again. Because every day is a new opportunity to honor yourself. Every day is a new opportunity to set boundaries. Every day is a new opportunity to reclaim your life. Now, if this episode has resonated with you, I want you to share with someone who is working on their boundaries. Please leave a review, send a message on Instagram, and tell me what boundary that you are most proud of setting this month. I love hearing from you. I love celebrating with you, and I love witnessing your growth. So until next Mindset Monday, when we kick it off with our new theme of April, this is Nyomi Banks reminding you to be good to one another and yourselves, and always keep it sexy. Love yourself first so you can love others well. Have an amazing, amazing day. Have a good one. Thank you so much for joining me today on this journey of intentional healing. I hope that this conversation has filled your cup and reminded you of the beautiful and worthy person that you are. I want you to remember, healing isn't about rushing. It's about showing up for yourself with love and intention, one day at a time. So I'll see you back here Monday and Wednesday for another episode of the Season of Healing Intentionally, right here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. So until then, keep choosing you. And visit us at the seasonofselflovepodcast.com for show notes and resources. And remember to connect with me on Instagram at The Real Nyomi Banks. This has been brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, because your healing matters. You are loved, you are worthy, and you are exactly where you need to be. Take care.